Hi, this is Trey Passer. I'm back with another Mr. Nightmare story. Now, this one's a little unusual. This is 3 horrific Tinder stories that ended in tragedy. So I usually try to just listen to, but these all end in a bad way. This is going to be kind of unusual, but I'm up for it, and it's a Mr. Nightmare story. So let's get right to it, and I'll be right back with my reaction. Okay, let me put my headphones on. Okay, here we go. Right now, go.
On August 7th, 2014, Warina Wright and Gable Tosti matched on Tinder. Gable wasn't her usual type, looking like a man who spends way too much time on his appearance, but he reminded her of Sam Winchester, a character in Supernatural, one of her favorite TV shows.
Okay.
Gable opened with a raunchy and aggressively forward message, saying, "You look delicious, I want to do dirty things to you."
Jesus.
To which Warina responds, "Does that usually work?" Gable then sends, "Can you be a freak in the sheets?"
Whoa.
To which she says, "Probably not, depends."
Uh,
Gable says, "What does it depend on?" And Warina responds, "What I've had to drink, lol. Gable keeps the conversation sexual by replying, "Let's get drunk together, I'm a porn star after a few drinks."
Jesus.
Warina gives Gable her number after the two exchange a few more messages, and a week later, they meet for the first time in the Cavill Mall.
Oh, boy.
They spent the night together heavily drinking, and CCTV footage from multiple establishments showed them meeting, walking into a nearby beer garden,
Oh, boy.
then purchasing a 6-pack of beer at a nearby bottle shop. And after their night out together, they ended up returning to the Avalon Apartments, where Gable lived alone on the 14th floor.
Uh-oh.
6 images taken by Gable that night show the couple apparently laughing and smiling in the apartment and on the balcony from which Warina would plunge to her death only hours later.
Man.
For whatever reason, Gable recorded the audio of his entire night with Warina, which included the entire confrontation the two would have towards the end of the night,
Jesus.
which was later played during Gable's trial. It was later found out that Gable had a weird habit of recording his entire dates with multiple women. At some point after the two had sex, Warina can be heard becoming increasingly erratic and aggressive towards him.
Yeah.
However, as the night progresses, Gable can be heard in the recording refusing to let her leave, and Warina's terrified screams to let her go home are silenced when he locks her outside on the balcony.
Jesus.
During this recording, Gable can allegedly be heard choking out Warina before locking her outside.
Call them with what? I thought you lost your phone.
Exactly.
So how are you going to call anyone without your
You
phone?
stole my fucking phone.
Oh,
Touch
man.
your goddamn phone.
You guys fucking stole my shit.
Shit, I should
So that's
never...
why I'm fucking calling them.
should have never given you so much to drink. I thought we were going to have fun.
Well, where's my shit?
Jesus.
Where's your
Where's
phone?
my shit?
What's your phone number?
Go
I'll have it.
800 fucking psycho bitch.
Oh.
Fucking.
I don't deserve this shit, alright? I'm a nice fucking guy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Nice fucking guy with all the money.
Uh-oh.
Must be on the balcony.
Well, I have shitloads of money. Why is
Oh, God.
my fucking money?
Stop. Just calm down, please.
I'm not coming down.
You've had too much to drink, alright?
I'm
Just...
not coming down because I've had so much to drink and I have shitloads of money in New Zealand. It's not funny. Shit. You know?
Calm down, please.
Do you know how I freak out? Because no one else has money.
Do you even remember what you were doing to me like half an hour ago?
Uh-oh.
It's freaking me
Yeah.
out. You beat me up for no reason.
Uh-oh.
Exactly.
Why?
Because you said you're a freak.
You thought it was funny or something. It's not.
No, I told you.
In the audio, he can be heard saying to Warina that she was lucky he didn't throw her off the balcony,
Jesus.
along with numerous other threats.
Nice girl.
He's
Fucking
It's not about how you need.
You're
It's not about how.
Yeah, it is. You're fucking insane.
It's not about how you need. It's about how you give a shit now.
See, I thought you were kidding, and I've taken enough. This is fucking bullshit. You're lucky I haven't chucked you off my fucking balcony, you goddamn psycho little bitch.
Oh, man.
Who the fuck do you think I am? Yeah. Do your Muay Thai now. What?
Oh, boy.
What? Got something to say? Say it.
Jesus.
Say it. Who
Jeez.
the fuck do you think you are?
No!
Hmm?
No! No!
You're
No!
trying to kill me, huh?
No!
Why'd you try to hit me with that?
No!
Huh?
Oh,
No! No!
Jesus.
No! No! No!
Fucking mouth.
No! No! No!
Jesus.
It's all on recording, you know?
No!
It's all being recorded.
Jesus.
I would, but you've been a bad girl.
Jesus. Jesus. Jesus.
It's apparent that both Gable and Warina were very drunk, with Warina sounding a lot drunker than Gable, slurring all of her words. Warina apparently thought the only way to escape would be attempting to climb down the building,
Jesus.
which resulted in her falling from the balcony to her death.
Jesus.
Gable, who was 28 at the time, was arrested for her death, but was ultimately acquitted of all charges. The prosecution claimed that Gable locked Warina on his balcony following a heated argument,
Jesus.
and when she tried to escape, presumably to a lower floor,
Oh,
she
man.
plummeted to her death.
Jesus Christ.
Gable's defense team said Warina was extremely intoxicated and that she had been acting irrationally before her tragic fall. Prosecutors argued that Gable had choked Warina, trapped her, and made her so afraid that she felt she had no choice but to escape at
Exactly.
whatever cost.
Yeah.
An audio recording of Gable's phone call with his father right after the incident was eventually released. And in it, Gable is heard telling his father that things had become violent between the pair, and that he locked her on his balcony, but insisted that he did not push her.
Sure.
Hello, Dad. I might have a bit of a situation.
A bit of a situation.
I met up with a girl for a date tonight, and she started getting really aggressive. Like, it was alright at first, and like
You piece of crap.
we, had sex in bed, and then after that, like, she kept drinking, and we were both drinking, and she, like, I think she thought it was like a joke or something, but she kept, like, beating me up and whatever. Like, I've been walking around and there are like a million cops around my building. I don't know what to do. I didn't push her or anything. I'm like just walking around the area, and there's like a million cops around the area.
Jesus.
It's really up. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm walking around the area, and I just see a million cops around Avalon. Dad, this is really up. Why does this keep happening to me? Like, I swear to God, I didn't push her or anything. I just chucked her out on the balcony and shut the door because she was beating me up.
According to a downstairs neighbor, loud arguments with women could be heard quite often from Gable's apartment,
There you go.
hinting that this kind of thing was a regular occurrence with him. Many people do believe that Gable murdered Warina, and there was public outrage when Gable was acquitted.
Oh, man. Jovi Papella.
The process of going through a divorce is usually not a pleasant one, and emotions are often very mixed. For some, a divorce can be a horrible time in one's life, full of grief and sorrow. But for others, it can be a hopeful time, a fresh start.
Yeah.
For 39-year-old Jovi Pillipil, a nurse from Sydney, Australia, her recent divorce with ex-husband Alexander Villaluna was going to be a new beginning. Jovi posted on Facebook, "New Year, New Beginnings," accompanied by a smiling photo of herself.
Okay.
She had since posted on her Facebook of flowers sent by secret admirers and birthday cards and gifts from her 3 children, who called her the best mother there can be,
Okay.
and an independent mother and woman.
Okay.
In March 2016, Jovi was using Tinder to find a date. Jovi is the mother of 4. She grew up in the Philippines and then moved to Auckland, New Zealand to train to be a nurse, and then she and her family would eventually move to Sydney, Australia. While on Tinder, she matched 53-year-old businessman Keith Collins. Keith had 3 children and 4 stepchildren. The two enjoyed chatting and decided to meet for a date. On March 30th, 2016, they went to dinner at a Korean barbecue restaurant. Just as they were finishing up, a man came up and put his arm around Keith. It was Jovi's ex-husband, Alexander.
Oh.
He asked Keith what he was doing with his wife.
Oh.
Keith said they were just having dinner. Then suddenly Alexander grabbed Keith by the neck with his left arm,
Jesus.
and he used his right hand to stab him in the abdomen with a hunting knife.
Jesus.
Jovi started screaming at him to stop, saying they were just having dinner. After stabbing Keith several times,
Jesus.
Alexander turned his attention to his 35-year-old estranged wife. He stabbed her once in the chest and once again in the arm when she tried to defend herself. Keith had fallen to the floor and he was trying to get up. Alexander got on top of him and then using both hands, he punched the knife into his chest. He did this 5 more times. After stabbing Keith 11 times and his ex-wife twice, Alexander calmly walked out of the restaurant. Jovi began to run from the restaurant, and at first Alexander went after her, but he seemed to give up or change his mind and head back to the restaurant, where he sat by Keith's now dead body and waited for the police to arrive. He surrendered without putting up a fight to the arresting officer, and he admitted that he attacked Keith because he was having dinner with his ex-wife.
What?
Okay. You are more than welcome. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
Jovi was taken to the hospital, and while she sustained injuries, she survived the attack. Alexander and Jovi had met 9 years earlier when they were both training to be a nurse in Auckland. They were both from the Philippines. Jovi claimed that Alexander was abusive from the start of their relationship. He wouldn't let her have friends and wouldn't let her leave the house often. Jovi already had 3 children from a previous relationship in 2011. She had 1 son with Alexander. 2 years before Keith was murdered, Jovi left Alexander and got a restraining order against him. In response to this, he told her that he would kill her if she ever started dating another man. But he also said at a later time he would spare her life because of their son. In September of 2017, Alexander pleaded guilty to murder. When given the chance to apologize, Alexander said it was difficult to say he was sorry because he was still angry about what happened to him. It also turned out that he told the probation and parole service that Jovi blamed herself for the problems in their relationship. So according to him, she would have been happy to have been killed by him.
What?
Alexander also claimed he attacked Keith in self-defense. However, CCTV footage clearly showed that he was the aggressor. The judge said the most heinous part was when he attacked Keith while he was already on the floor bleeding to death. In October of 2017, Alexander was sentenced to 40 years in prison, and he'd have to serve at least 30 years before he could apply for parole. He'll be able to apply for parole on March 30th, 2046, when he's 74 years old.
Piece of crap. Grace Miller.
On the morning of October 26th, 2018, 21-year-old Grace Millane drove from her Essex County home to Heathrow Airport in London, where she boarded her flight to Peru. She spent the next 10 days traveling from island to island before heading on her way to Auckland, New Zealand, where she would arrive on November 30th, 2 days before her 22nd birthday. Grace was staying at a hostel where she made friends with some of the other tourists and backpackers. Grace was known for being an outgoing social butterfly. She spent the rest of the night on the 30th taking it relatively easy, and decided to start swiping on Tinder looking to meet someone, maybe make some local friends while she visited. She swiped until she connected with somebody named Jesse, and the two began to chat. Grace and Jesse made plans to go on a date the following day, and so on December 1st, 2018, Grace's bunkmates watched as Grace got ready and left the hostel to head to her date with Jesse. A few hours went by, and at some point in the evening, Grace sent a message to a friend back home stating that the date was going really well and she felt a connection with Jesse. However, it wasn't long after this message that Grace's phone and social media activity went silent.
Oh boy.
The next day was her birthday, and many of Grace's family and friends went on to send Grace happy birthday wishes, but she never replied to any of them. And as the days went on, everybody became increasingly concerned. And so on December 5th, 2018, Grace's family reported her missing to Auckland law enforcement. They clarified their concern by pointing out that Grace was actually carrying 2 cell phones while she traveled just in case there was ever an issue with one of them, so that way she would still be able to stay in touch. Both of Grace's cell phones had been going directly to voicemail as of December 2nd. Grace's father traveled to New Zealand to do some searching of his own. CCTV footage caught Grace leaving her hostel at exactly 5:37 p.m. She then walked to a bar and casino known as Sky City, which was fairly close to her hostel, and she waited there for a few moments until she's seen meeting up with and hugging Jesse. The two of them then went into Sky City for approximately 90 minutes while they had some drinks together, and things appeared to be going really well and the two appeared to be hitting it off. They continued their date onto the next bar, known as Mexican Cafe. They had a few more drinks at the Mexican cafe, and then they continued on again to another bar known as the Blue Stone Room.
Jesus.
While at the Blue Stone Room, things appeared to become more intimate between the two. They can be seen kissing multiple times, before Jesse made a quick trip to the bathroom. This is the exact moment that Grace messaged her friend back home that she was having a really good time with her date. Jesse then returned, and the two eventually left the bar at 9:40 p.m. The two are seen holding hands and walking towards a building known as the City Life Hotel, where Jesse rented an apartment.
Oh boy.
The two can be seen entering the elevator of the building and exiting on the floor of Jesse's apartment.
Oh boy.
This is the last moment that Grace was seen alive.
Jesus.
The next morning, on December 2nd, Jesse is then seen entering the elevator alone and exiting his apartment building. He's then seen purchasing a handful of cleaning supplies as well as a new large suitcase.
Oh,
He
man.
places the new purchases inside his apartment, and then he
Jesus.
leaves the apartment again.
Jesus.
He then jumps in a taxi and gets a ride to a local car rental facility where he rents a vehicle and heads to another bar in the area to meet up with a second Tinder date,
Jesus.
the day after murdering his previous Tinder date.
Jesus.
This date became uncomfortable very quickly, and she decided to end things because she found him really creepy after he had been talking about the best places to hide a dead body.
Jesus.
When the date was over, Jesse stopped by the front desk of his apartment building and asked if he could borrow a Rug Doctor carpet steam cleaning machine. He brought it up to his apartment and spent a couple hours in there before appearing on camera again.
Oh.
He's then seen bringing a hotel luggage cart up to his room, and shortly after, reappearing in the elevator with the luggage cart loaded with his new suitcase and many other small suitcases.
Oh.
He then brings the luggage cart down to his rented vehicle and loads everything inside.
Jesus.
The next morning at around 7 a.m. on December 3rd, Jesse then went to a nearby store and purchased a brand new shovel.
Oh.
He then returned to his apartment building just after 9 a.m. He then stopped by a random trash can and tossed out some items, and then drove to a dry cleaning service to clean some clothing, and then he took his car rental to be completely cleaned.
Oh.
Police caught up with Jesse a few days later and brought him in for questioning.
Jesus. And chase him, yeah. Oh, okay. You piece of crap. Yeah, exactly. Come back, you son of a...
The police believe that Jesse was involved in some way due to the substantial amount of evidence against him.
Yeah.
Tell us about Grace.
So I was talking to Grace on Tinder. We'd matched on Friday. I saw that we'd matched the next day on Saturday.
How did the evening pan out?
Yeah, pretty good. I didn't initially know that she was real.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of... So have you heard of catfish?
No.
So catfishing is where
Sure, you piece
someone uses your profile, or uses your photos and pretends to be you and then meets, and you're a completely different person.
Right.
And it's happened to a few people I know in Australia. And it's all over the TV. So I thought, you know what, if I meet at Sky City, at least I know that there's lots of people around. So if it is someone that it's not, then I can just walk away.
How did the evening sort of come to an end?
There was a hug and a kiss on the cheek, and a thanks, no, nice meeting you. And then I said, let me know about tomorrow. And she said, okay. And then she kept walking.
We actually don't know if she's been murdered or not yet. She may be alive and well,
Okay.
but she might also be dead.
Exactly.
Okay? And it could be that you've done it.
Yep.
Hey, I just want to ask a question. Am I being arrested for something I didn't do?
You haven't been arrested, mate.
Oh,
You piece of crap.
holy...
They immediately obtained a search warrant for Jesse's apartment, and they began a forensic examination. Despite Jesse's cleaning attempts,
Exactly.
the investigators were able to discover blood in and around the two edges of his apartment carpet using luminol.
Exactly.
Jesse was then interviewed again on December 7th, just 2 days after his initial interview, and this was when his story to police began to change.
Ugh.
Drove the car out to Cumu at first. I picked up a shovel
You
from
piece of crap.
ITM at Cumu. I ended up driving towards the Waitakaries. I went into the bush. I dug a hole. I went and got the suitcase.
You piece of crap.
Covered the hole.
You piece of crap.
And then I drove.
Where is her possessions?
I threw them in the rubbish.
Whereabouts?
Albert Park rubbish.
Right. So what items of her property have been disposed of in Albert Park?
Everything.
All of her clothing?
Everything that was in the room.
Right.
I was just panicking.
Did you inflict any injuries on her that caused her to die?
Of course he did.
No.
What?
Did you kill Grace Mullane?
Yes, you did.
Okay. And you're under arrest for the murder of Grace Mullane
Exactly.
on or about the 2nd of December.
Yep.
You understand?
Jesse was charged and held in police custody. And while behind bars, police found pictures Jesse took of Grace before placing her inside the luggage that he purchased. Google search history and GPS from Jesse's cell phone led investigators to the Waitakere mountain ranges, where they discovered the luggage with Grace's body buried in a hole. Jesse was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison with a minimum non-parole period of 17 years. During this time, 2 more victims came forward and accused Jesse of sexually assaulting them after matching with him on Tinder.
What a piece of
In October of 2020, Jesse was convicted of 8 more charges related to these offenses. He was sentenced to serve an additional 11 years concurrently to the life sentence that he had already received. Jesse Kempson currently resides at the Auckland prison in New Zealand, where he will remain.
piece of crap. Oh my God. Oh. Those stories are horrific. Oh my God. Well, then they said they were going to end in tragedy. Oh my God. Especially that last story. I know we want to be independent and stuff. I know this may sound a little sexist, but not traveling by yourself. I'm sorry. That's just insanity. Traveling by yourself. Okay. No, not, you know, because I know I heard another story too about a woman that, well, not, I mean, that's not rambling, but that story, exactly. I know you want to be young and you want to adventure, you want to find things and search the world, but everybody's not so great. That's why the good thing, like I said, meet in public, never go to somebody's house. And she felt comfortable, I guess, after a while, a bunch of drinking and stuff, and they were kissing and stuff, and then she decided to go back to his apartment, which she should have never done. That was just insanity, not be alone with him. And obviously this idiot killed her, because he probably tried to force her to have sex with her and something she probably didn't want to, and he probably choked her to death, or stabbed her, because they said they found blood and all that stuff. And then he buries the body and all that stuff. Thank God for cameras and stuff, because they found the footage of him buying shovels and all that other stuff. Just a complete psycho. And obviously he was attacking women before, and then it just escalated, I guess, with Grace. I felt so bad for her parents. Exactly. I can understand you, again, you wanting to travel and be independent and stuff and be off on your own, but I just think that you're taking a chance, especially you're in a foreign country and you don't know, you just met this guy on Tinder, so you don't know, I can understand if you want to go date with, but never go anywhere with him by yourself. That, I think, again, because you never know what kind of psycho this guy is, and obviously he was escalating and it was a complete psycho, and he wound up killing her, and I felt so bad. I felt bad for her and her parents. That's just incredible, this piece of crap. That's why, again, like I said, women should be allowed to carry tasers and stuff, not just like pepper spray. Carry tasers. It's exactly for situations like this and stuff, because that might have saved her life if she was able to tase this idiot. But then again, like I said, you're in a foreign country and you go off on a date. That part, again, it's okay, but now, she went back to his apartment with him, which is insane. As long as you were in public, I think you were safe. But then I guess maybe with the drinks and stuff, and they got close, and she thought everything was going good, and she went with him. She took a chance and thought he was normal, and then he wound up killing her. And she couldn't predict that. But again, if, like I said, if never go anywhere off on your own, especially somebody you just met. Okay, to me, that was insanity, going back to his place. But Not that I'm blaming the victim. I just think that guy was completely nuts, and obviously, and he was escalating and stuff. And like I said, he probably tried to force her to have sex and stuff, and she fought back, and he wound up stabbing her, killing, and then burying the body. Ugh, what a complete psycho. My heart goes out to her family for that. That's just insane. That's why you don't, again, you go on these dates, Tinder dates and stuff, go in public places. Do not go back to anybody's house. I don't care how great the date is. Okay, do not go back to somebody's place by yourself. Go to public places. Okay, do not go. I know people have said that all the time. It's do not go back to somebody's place. I don't care how great or how hot the guy is or how hot the girl is. Do not go back to their place by yourself. That's just, you never know what you're walking into. And unfortunately for her, she wound up getting murdered. And then that second story with the divorced lady and her date. And the psycho husband coming to the restaurant and just stabs him to death. And I felt so. That's again, psycho exes, and this guy was obviously a psycho, and he actually stalked her because obviously he stalked her and followed her to that date, and stabbed the guy at the restaurant. Oh my God, I felt so piece of crap. I felt so bad for his family, and I felt bad for her too because this dude obviously was stalking her after. You never know who you met, and like she said, he was abusive from the beginning, and that's why you got to take your time to get to know somebody. Okay, don't just get married right away. You have to live with them for a little bit or date for a while, long time. Get to know them in and out, before you commit to them. Because obviously, like I said, this guy was obviously a psycho from the beginning. Abusive from the beginning, and not having a kid with him. That's even worse because that ties you to him. Okay, and he's always gonna try to have an excuse to come around to see his son or something, and he wound up killing that. I felt so bad for that dude. He just wanted an innocent date and wound up getting murdered by this psycho who couldn't let his ex-wife go and just literally walked into a psycho's life, and he just a tragic story. But and I just wish they had a death penalty for that. I guess he would have got the death penalty, and that guy in Australia got the death penalty for killing. The girl just wanted a date in that story and to connect with somebody, and this psycho wound up killing her, and then this idiot in this second story wound up murdering the guy who just wanted a date. Like I said, a connection, and he ran into a psycho. I felt so bad for him. And then that first story, that dude's an idiot because, first of all, again, she went back to his place. Why? I don't understand. Even drink. I know drinking loosens inhibitions and all that stuff, but she should have never went back to his place, with him. Never again. This, you're chatting and all that stuff, and this is your first time with going out with him. Do not go back to his place. That's just, you do not know this guy. And you went back to his place, obviously, and you got further drunk, and he got drunk, and then this idiot, especially from the neighbors, that he's been doing this before, attacking women before, and he gonna lock you on a balcony, and she, like I said, she was drunk, and she's probably paranoid that this guy was gonna do something to her, so she decided, let me climb down, and she probably slipped and fell because she was drunk, and fell to her death. Oh my God, that's just tragedy. But again, he's an idiot, because if she was so drunk and out of control, all you had to do was pick up the phone and call 911. Okay, but obviously he didn't want to do that. Okay, which it shows you more. And the fact he got acquitted of it, to me, makes he still should have been charged. Even if you don't charge him with direct murder, you can charge him with reckless, manslaughter or something, because of his actions, locking her out on the balcony, and especially she was drunk and out of control. You locking her out on the balcony where she's drunk and paranoid. And obviously, she probably felt that she had to get away from you, and you wouldn't let her leave. Okay, remember that when she was saying, "Let's let me leave," and he wouldn't let her leave. He just locked her in the thing. Okay, if she was such a psycho and threat, all you had to do was open up your door and pick her up and throw her out, or call the cops and say, "This girl's out of control. We went on a date, and she don't want to leave my apartment." Okay, and the cops would have came and took her away. But no, you wanted to control her. Okay, and keep her and locking her on the. And who's to say, like I said, he didn't shove her off the balcony. I mean, they're saying he's saying that he, man, that's the story they tell his dad. Oh, I just locked her out on the balcony. Maybe he actually picked her up and threw her off the balcony. For all we know. And the fact that he got away with it, okay, to me is just, is even more of a tragedy. And Zach, and again, don't go back to the guy's place. You just met the guy. Okay, do not go back to his place. Okay, meet in a public place. These Tinder things, I don't know why people decide to do that. If you're gonna meet somebody on Tinder, you have a date, everything's going great. Okay, say, okay, good, great. And we'll meet again for another date. And again, in a public place. Okay, wait for a bunch of dates so you really get to know somebody. And even if you have to have somebody investigate the person to make sure first of all, they're not a psycho. They don't got any arrest warrants out for them. They don't got a psycho ex, or they're married or anything. You can do that investigating while you're going on public dates. Okay, do not go back to his place, or do not invite him back to your place by yourself. Okay, that's asking for it. Okay, I just putting yourself in a position, and I felt so bad for that because she was drunk and fighting and all that stuff, and like maybe she was out of control, but he had options. That he could have called the cops and told, listen, this girl's, I met her on Tinder and she's drunk and she's out of control. She doesn't want to leave my place. She's beating me up. Could you please, send the cop around? Or he could have did that, but he didn't. He said, suppose he locked her out on the balcony you live in a high-rise building and you lock her out on the balcony where she could actually slip and fall and she's drunk. Come on. Exactly. He should have been charged with something. And acquitting him, to me, is ridiculous. He should have been charged with something. Okay, he got away with something because, like I said, he could have really murdered her for all we know. We just take his word for that. He said he just locked her on a balcony and then she slipped and fell off the, trying to get away from this crazy guy. Okay, and you see from the thing, he had a history because the neighbors reported hearing him with girls and stuff making loud noises and all this stuff. So that could have been his whole MO. Exactly. And you could tell from his text message from the beginning, he was basically, saying he wanted to hook up. Okay. And again, do not do that. Women and men, do not go back to somebody's place, especially on the first date. Okay. That's just, you don't know what you're walking into. I found it insane that people do that. They actually, go back to people's houses by mistake. Don't do that. That's public places, lots of public dates. Okay, investigate that person. Make sure that they're not psycho. They're not married. They don't have crazy exes and all that stuff. You got to do that just to protect yourself. And I felt so bad. These stories are horrific. Oh man, like I said, they ended in tragedy, and they did end in tragedy. I felt so bad, especially the last girl. She's independent. She's traveling on to be on her own, and she meets a guy, and it looks like it's going well, and then I think that fatal mistake was going back to his place. I know you're feeling comfortable that the drinks are flowing, and you're making out in the restaurant, so you think everything's cool. Then you go back to his place, and then that's when he reveals that Jekyll and Hyde side of him. And like I said, he probably tried to force her to have sex, and she didn't want to, and then he killed her. And that's just that breaks my heart for her family. That's just anyway. Let me know what you think of these Tinder dates going wrong. This one's gonna stay with me for a while. That's just insanity. It's just beyond anything. Anyway, I'll leave a link to Mr. Nightmare's channel in the description box so you can check it out for yourself. Also have links to my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram. Also have a link to my other channel, Pop Views and Opinions. If you check that out as well. Also have a link down below to my patron. I want to say a special thank you to my patron. His name will appear in this video somewhere. I want to say thank you for supporting me. You always have my back. And again, my patrons only $5 a month. Tons of content on there. Tons of unedited content on there, like Marvel shows, DC shows, Star Wars shows, movies, and The Boys Season 3. Follow link down below to the patron. Check it out. Also, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps the channel, and I truly appreciate it. Also, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so you know when I upload new content to this channel. And this is Trey Pass saying so long, and take care.